Now that we're in the correct mood.
No, here we are. Hey, everyone. We're just talking about how we find that it's, it's charming. It's a sign of friendship when you can share your earbuds with other people.
Nope.
No.
Never. That's disgusting. Which means I think my wife and my daughter are disgusting. But that's neither here nor there.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's what they get.
It is what they get. How dare they be different from me?
How dare.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of something different, we're starting up a new chapter of Spectaculars. We're going to be starting up Clash Among the Stars, which is the module that's kind of like for some space adventure nonsense. And I think it's the only one that none of us have ever had a chance to try out before. So I'm pretty pumped for it. And we're going to do kind of a session 0 sort of thing tonight. We're going to have everybody make their characters, or at least kind of discuss like what feels good to them, do a little bit of world building, and kind of set the vibe for things. Should be a pretty good time, I think. And wow, the layout is different this time around.
It is. It's in reverse alphabetical order from top to bottom.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I guess that just means our big, beautiful bear, Jeff, has to introduce himself first.
Look at that. Hey, I'm Jeff, Adventures in Lollygagging. Play games on the internet at twitch.tv/lollygaggers. Friday, we play Delta Green. And then Mondays, we alternate between Things from the Flood and Alien, the role-playing game. And soon, we will have a Worlds Without Number game coming to the channel. Very soon.
Nice. All right. And then next up, we've got the man, the myth, the wind beneath my wings, Jake. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm quite excited to be here. I'm with the Defenders of Cobalt, and I'm just the last Spectaculars game that I got to play in with these people was spectacular. And I look forward to seeing what we can do in space.
Nice. I'm sure you'll pull off something amazing.
Oh, yes.
You'll pull off something amazing, but our next beautiful son of a bitch is probably going to pull off something cheap if it's anything like the last game. Dan, bless your heart. Tell us all about yourself.
That's a great way to start. Dan with the Defenders of Cobalt, and yeah, I played Shortcut in our last game, and I basically just found the fastest way to tear up Jeremy's notes.
It was delightful. I respected it. I cursed you as I laid crying in my pillow at night, but I respected it nonetheless.
Oh, that hurts me a little bit too.
We'll see if you can pull that off again.
I'm kind of hoping that I have somebody different this time.
Congratulations, you smacked into his new notes that he took.
Oh, no. Yeah, foolish you. I'm not taking notes anymore. Oh, man. Now we've got the HBIC, the one, the only, the fire starter himself, Chuck. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to do things. But yeah, also... Chuck, Defenders of Cobalt, you're on my fucking channel, so good job. That's all the hard part you got to figure out for tonight.
Cool.
Yeah. I have figured out that I'm gonna play Construct. So whatever I'm gonna do, it's gonna be robot shenanigans.
I respect robot shenanigans.
Yes.
I respect them real hard.
Yes.
And then I'm really excited for our last member here. Bert is just kind of like, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of an idol. You know, he's just kind of the man. I'm excited you're here. How are you?
Checks in the mail. Hey, I'm Bert. Check me out at twitch.tv/SteamSteelMurder. We stream on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. All kinds of different things. Right now, primarily a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons with powered by the Apocalypse Shadowrun on Sundays. And this Saturday, Goodman Games official channel running an Umerica adventure.
Yeah.
Chuck is going to be in that one, and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. It's so good.
America.
Yep. And I think this is the first Supers game I've been in for at least a decade.
Oh, wow. Well,
no pressure, Jeremy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm going to say I'm sorry in advance, But if nothing else, I think we can promise that it'll get weird, but it'll probably stay fun.
Sounds
Mostly
right.
weird.
Chuck's playing a robot. I know it's going to have a rectum, so yeah, it'll be weird. Maybe fun.
Oh man, I kind of was just blind to the thought of that, and now that you've brought it up, I should have known better.
Yep, that's going to be his input terminal, probably.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the inventor was just marveled at his own ability to create a fully functioning artificial butthole with with robot attached.
Why?
Hang on, man. I gotta
Okay.
hack this. Let me sit on your keyboard.
Oh no,
It's fine. Tiny little fingers come out.
no.
The button-
Okay, so I'm broken before we even start. That's a good sign. So with character creation, it's kind of a mix of randomness and a little bit of choice. We're all going to draw 5 power cards that are kind of a mix of like the space themed powers and the common powers. And you also have some generic powers like flight, super strength, super toughness, and stuff like that. See Mickey. Oh no. And then you'll get to choose anywhere between 1 to 3 powers that you want to use. And then we'll also draw like backgrounds, almost like for some people it's your secret identity. For some people it's just a profession if it's not secret. But that would probably be our first step, is to kind of go around and have everybody draw 5 cards out of the power deck.
I'll go ahead and deal them because we had some problems before with like individual drawing. So I'll just deal them.
When you need a respected dealer, you turn to Jeff.
All right. So 5 powers.
Yes.
All right. And Jeremy doesn't get any, so screw that guy.
Or you could say that I get all of them.
All right. Power cards should be dealing now. So check your hands, see if they're popping up.
They did.
If anyone did not get them, let me know.
So what's
Check.
the
Okay.
difference between the green and the blue?
So blue are kind of like standard powers
Okay.
that go across all your different modules. The other ones are stuff that are meant to be more specific to this campaign or this module. And basically you can choose up to 3 powers. Whatever your primary power is, you're going to roll it at 80%. Your secondary power will roll at 70%. And if you choose to do a third one, it'll roll at 60%.
So we choose 2 or 3 of these.
Or even just
Okay.
one if you want. The main thing that you might get rewarded for choosing fewer powers, or possibly choosing one of those basic powers that's not in the draw pool, is having more hero points, which you can use to augment rolls, or sometimes you might have special abilities that you spend a hero point to do something. It's kind of a little bit of give and take. You might have that character that just has their 2 big powers, but they might have a ton of hero points to do special abilities or do team up attacks. Or you might be the person that just wants to be a utility power person and just have, 3 major powers to go out there.
Okay. So how do we attach these to a character sheet, or do we?
Just drag it from the hand and just drop it on the table. If you've picked out your archetype, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to make a hard, fast choice right away. They tend to be, the encouragement is to kind of be a little bit on the lenient side, like give you a chance to like talk about the world you're going to be in. And if that impacts what sort of archetype you wanted to use, or maybe if you want to swap around your powers a little bit, you're not locked into it real hard to begin with.
Okay. So basically we're dropping the cards just on the archetype screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do people want to choose?
Everyone's got their own cards.
No, I mean for the archetypes.
Archetypes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's only going to be one of each if we do it.
And I think that we have time to decide if we want to do some world building first, and then feel out which stuff we want to be.
So in fairness, like if there's anybody who has something in mind, by all means call it. Like Chuck has made it very clear he wants to be a butt hacking robot, and who am I to deny that? And there's a ton of different archetypes available in this game in general. But some of your starting ones are things like a tech wizard, which is going to be sort of like your Forge or Rocket Raccoon type. You've got the Starfarer that's kind of like Adam Strange or maybe Corsair. You've got the powerhouse. It's kind of like your Captain Marvel or Superman sort of type. You've got a Maverick that's kind of got a little bit of a Star-Lord sort of vibe. Champion sort of has a Drax vibe. Blasters kind of like Solar or Cyclops. And there's others too. Like if we go through character creation or session 0 and you're like, oh man, I had this idea that I really want to do, but it wasn't in the opening archetypes, we can dig through the other ones and make it work. But did anybody see anything that they were kind of digging initially? Oh no.
Kind of on the offset. I'm looking at Starfarer, but
Okay.
not a hard set.
What are the basic powers? I'm not seeing those.
Okay. Those should be. Let me get back to the home screen.
Anyone should be able to view them. If you go to the home screen, Jake, and you use the tile controls on the left, and like you right click on the basic powers deck, there should be like a view deck option on the left. Looks like an eyeball, and you should be able to see all of them that way. If that doesn't work, I can draw them onto the table if necessary.
And there's 20. Do we get a pick from those 20, or does a certain allotment get picked and thrown on the table?
You can. I would make it to where anybody can choose any of the basic powers.
They're copies, by the way. There's like 5. I think there's 5 basic powers.
Exactly.
And 4 copies of each. Yeah.
You've got super strength, super toughness, flight, energy blast, signature weapon. So even if for some reason the 5 cards you drew, you just felt they all suck ass, you can still make a pretty quality character out of just those basic powers. And some archetypes, like that powerhouse type, the one that's meant to be sort of like a Captain Marvel type, actually rewards you for using your more simplistic powers.
Anybody looking at Maverick?
It's all yours, man.
Jake?
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to grab Maverick then.
Nice. Maverick is pretty fun. On the second sheet, you'll see like what their special ability is. Each archetype has some special thing they can do outside of the power cards that you draw. So the Maverick has dirty tricks. Anytime after the start of the first turn of the round, you can check off one of the boxes next to the name of this benefit and describe. It has 2 checks. And describe some clever trick or deception that you use to surprise an enemy, and then move your initiative card to 1 space before any one of that enemy's initiative cards. And then flip your card face up and it's face down. So basically you have like initiative manipulative stuff. That's fun.
Which is actually surprisingly useful.
It can be, yes. Especially like the last team had a ton of initiative manipulation. It was pretty good.
Our goal was basically just beat them before they could get a turn.
So I threw my 2 cards onto my table. Now I can't move the cards that are on the table.
You need to
Use the tile controls.
Yeah,
It's like a 3 blocks in a stack.
the Cubert squares.
The Cubert squares,
okay.
yeah.
So what powers did you draw there, Bert?
Dark matter control and constructs, which I thought went together pretty well.
Ooh, what is then both of them should probably have a couple of power stunts beneath them.
Yeah.
Those you'll see like what looks like a little time token or whatever. Those are sort of like cooldowns. So if you use whatever that little power stunt is, that's how many rounds you have to wait before you can use it again. What does constructs do?
You can create objects out of thin air, shaping them from energy that you generate and control. So since I can also do dark matter, I'm going to say that's the energy.
Oh, nice. So kind of like a Green Lantern sort of thing.
Yeah. When you are near an enemy, you can make melee attacks against that enemy using this power. No cooldown for that. The power stunt is 2 cooldown. Make this use a hindering attack. Flip the target's initiative card face down instead of dealing damage.
Ooh.
Now, under dark matter control, you can control dark matter, the unobservable dense matter that makes up more than 80% of the universe. When you hit an enemy with this power, and this is the only thing it does, It's got 2 time tokens. Move all the target's initiative cards to the end of the initiative track.
Wow. So between dirty tricks and that's pretty impressive. All right. Well, I'll just grit my teeth and be prepared for none of my bad guys to ever go first. That's okay. I respect it. Nice.
Now, the cards I don't choose, can I throw them out of my hand or
Yeah,
Right
to
click on
Jeremy,
them.
that's what I did.
give them to
Right click and
Jeremy?
you can
Okay.
discard.
Give
Right
them to
click.
me. Okay, so we've got sort of like a Star-Lord-ish or Maverick of some sort with a couple of pretty cool powers. That gives you a lot of good ways to manipulate the battlefield. That'll be great. Who else has any powers that they're kind of looking forward to?
I've got my suite sorted out.
Okay, awesome. What do you got?
So playing the construct, going AI, so pure robot.
Okay.
My thought for my robot is that I was formerly just an assassin bot
Okay.
who was against his will given like an empathy chip.
Mhm,
And so now he is driven to help people and he fucking hates it. So my signature weapon, or my first power signature weapon, a basic
Okay,
card.
cool.
So I'm just going to take, I think maybe like a sniper rifle.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the
Do
other.
you think it's? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's ballistic, or are you doing like cheesy, like laser rifle sort of thing?
It's got to be a laser rifle, right?
Okay, of course. All right.
Next I took was invisibility, because if you're a sniper robot, you got to be able to turn invisible.
That's
These are
awesome.
facts.
Yeah.
And the final thing I have is force fields, because what self-respecting robot doesn't have a force field?
None of them.
Yeah, man. That's pretty solid. That's a nice little set there.
Yeah, so turn invisible, snipe, force fields, My goal, I think, to, fuck around with you filthy meat bags is going to put force field around your food while you're trying to eat.
Okay, good. I see nothing but good things coming from that.
Yeah.
Delightful. All right, so we've got an idea what Bert's getting into. We got an idea what Chuck's getting into. Let's who should we put on the spot next? Of course, Dan. Let's make Dan uncomfortable.
I'm sorry in advance.
I want to see how
Why?
this works out.
I'm looking at the Starfarer, and I think I know what my powers are going to be.
Okay.
I'm just trying to decide which order I want them to be in. One of them is power mimicry. You copy the powers of other heroes and villains, turning them against them. So you can make checks and attacks using powers possessed by other characters in the scene, using this power's chance of success.
Okay. All
Choose
right.
powers possessed by an enemy, a basic power possessed by another hero, and I place a copy of that on my deck for a while.
Okay. All right.
The next one maybe won't be so bad.
Okay.
Gravity manipulation. Control the strength and directional pull of gravity.
That's wow.
And I can make it a long-lasting effect. And then the other one is tachyon control. Generate and control tachyons, particles that travel faster than light. Make this a quick power. Add 2 advantage dice to the roll. After resolving this, move your initiative card to the end of the initiative track face up. So I believe that means I get 2 turns.
Yeah, that's all right. And on top of that, you also have what? Improvisation. As your action, you can spend a hero point to choose any of the basic powers and make an attack using that power at an 80% chance of success, describing it as your hero creatively using the environment in some way.
So I'm just going to be borrowing from anyone and everyone.
Fair enough. So a little bit less of a shortcut, but you're the utility belt. You'll pretty much just do anything.
And probably just annihilate some people with gravity.
Gravity control is pretty awesome.
Says it can cover a large area or concentrated.
I dig it. Okay, I like that.
So I just got to figure out what order I want them to be in.
Okay. All right. How about you, Jake? What have you drawn so far?
Yeah, I could go two different ways with this. I've got a lot of I've got electricity, dazzle, and air manipulation. Those all sort of play into each other quite well.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also got telekinesis, precognition, and mind control.
Ooh.
So those could all play very nicely together.
Yeah.
Although I could also, there is another power that I could go with and use some basic powers alongside it to make a decent champion or a powerhouse.
Okay.
So I've got options galore. I could be a manipulative turd. I could be a sort of person who fights from afar and a person who fights from very up close. So it's a three-way street. I don't know which way to go.
Hey, you know what? I don't judge. I think 3 ways are great. We're going to leave you some time to simmer on that. And, we won't hold you to it just yet. But yeah, I think both champion and powerhouse are a ton of fun. If you're thinking of going more basic powers, powerhouse really rewards you for using the basic powers. I think champion is the one that gives you something more along the lines of you get rewarded whenever you defeat enemies. I think you basically heal or kind of get rejuvenated from defeating enemies.
Yeah, I could see myself doing either of those.
They're both good.
Mm-hmm. I think I will. I think I'll go the powerhouse route.
Okay.
I'll take geokinesis for my. I'll take geokinesis as a minor power.
Okay.
And then for my 80%, I'll go with super toughness, and for 70, I'll go super strength.
For what it's worth, I'll let you know that it's pretty rare you'll roll toughness on its own as a check. But toughness is a great. I say this as I mean well, because I don't know you ever roll toughness on its own, but because its main power is a reaction to reduce damage.
Oh, in that case, I'll go with geokinesis then as my 80, and then I'll go super toughness for 60.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now you'll more easily destroy everything I put in front of you.
Excellent.
Because, you know what? That's great. I don't really care about my bad guys. They're there for you to tear into pieces. I've learned not to plan anything for you guys long ago. Speaking of best laid plans gone far, far astray, what have you got, Jeff?
All right, like Jake, I was keeping my options open.
Okay.
So there's kind of two ways I could go. One of them is champion oriented, and I could just go full tank because I got armor as one of my powers. And I was thinking, and I also have like solar energy control, which has a powerful attack, which is always really nice. And so I could do some combination of like armor, solar energy control, maybe even throw super strength in there and just be like a huge tank and just like soak up damage.
Good.
The other way I was thinking of possibly going as well, the other option was Tech Wizard, because I have Ben Space, which it sounds cooler than I think it really is. If you roll a 20 or less, you can treat the rolls at 20, which is kind of a but it does have a power stunt for precision attack, and that's always nice to roll sometimes. But the one I really like for Tech Wizard, or the two I really like for Tech Wizard, if I were to go this route, retro causality. You can cause the effects of your actions to travel backward in time, affecting the events of the recent past.
Ooh.
Which is like initiative fuckery. Flip one face down, initiative card face up. So I could potentially give somebody that's like probably just once a battle because it takes like 4 time tokens, or I can heal. Those are the things I could potentially do with it. Then there's binding, which I could just like do a bunch of hindering attacks and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I have a name if I were to go with the champion one and a theme, so I'm kind of leaning that way just because I already have the name down and I think it would be funny, but I don't know.
Are you willing to share that with us?
Barbarian, and he would be just a bear alien guy in armor with the power of the sun.
Nice. So he'd be a sun bear.
He'd be a sun
That's
bear.
adorable.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, I would. It's barbarian. Like,
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I kind of love it.
I know, right?
I'm imagining like if Todd McFarlane released a line of Care Bear toys.
Yes.
I really
the Sunshine Bear would just get turned into Barbarian.
Definitely a Care Bear. I come from a race of Care Bears.
That would be awesome. Like if you actually do have like the little sun symbol on your
That's what it's gonna be. I think
Yeah.
I've made my decision. I think that's what's happened here.
And then does your armor just have like almost the Iron Man style like beam in the front?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I hope that it's like, Iron Man style armor, but like with a nice little pleasant looking sun cut out into it to blast sun out at people from.
Yeah.
Like it has a little happy face on it when it's not, radiating sunlight.
All right, so I'm going to go armor, solar energy control, and I might throw basic power, super strength in there.
Okay.
I'm not sure the order yet, but probably those three.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm pretty excited for this group. This sounds fun. So kind of our next step will be everybody draws 3 cards from the identity deck. And this is sort of like whether you want it to be your secret identity or if it's just kind of your profession. This will give you sort of your skills. Because in general, you'll have like something that you're really good at, a couple of things that are like 70 or 60. And most things, if you can make an argument for why you should know how to do it, you roll at least a 50-50 chance.
I just dealt them out. You should be getting them.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I could be an astronaut. A bear astronaut.
Did you draw astronaut for real?
I really did. I drew astronaut.
That's so
I drew
perfect.
astronaut, salvager, and reporter. Bear reporter. He's a cub reporter.
Oh no.
Good. Oh goodness.
That's awesome.
So I got asteroid miner, doctor, or racer. So my concept for the character is his hero name is Gloom.
Uh-huh.
He's like a goth emo kid.
Uh-huh.
He's got the long black hair, really pale skin.
Okay.
But he's like happy goth.
Okay.
So he's really chipper. I think it'd be hilarious if he was a doctor, but racer is kind of cool too.
Okay. But you don't have to choose just yet. We can maybe kind of like do some world building and let you choose. But those all sound really cool. I like it. What about you, Chuck? What professions did you pull up?
I pulled up socialite, government agent, and fugitive.
Ooh.
So I'm going fugitive.
Okay.
I escaped from, whatever robot place that I was under the control of when they forced me to become a hero. So, the bad guys are out there. They want to reclaim me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's hard to beat.
You didn't escape from the girder bending factory.
Maybe I did.
Nice. How about you, Dan? What'd you pull?
I got musician, athlete, and outlaw, and I'm kind of leaning towards outlaw just right out the gate.
Okay.
But might have to see how that fits with everything else we do here.
Okay. Those all sound pretty fun. How about our main man,
I mean,
Jake?
if we've got a fugitive in the party already, maybe an outlaw fits too.
That's true. That would be like kind of a fun way to potentially tie you two together.
Yeah. Maybe I helped him get out.
Yeah. And honestly, like the whole mimicry thing fits kind of nicely with a fly by the seat of pants, like space rogue sort of dude.
Yeah. Gravity, tachyons, help me get out, move fast, slow people down.
It's not bad. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
that's a pretty good setup for the both of you.
Mm-hmm. How about our powerhouse? What did our powerhouse pull?
Well, I got Stellar Drifter, Bounty Hunter, and Firefighter. I think Firefighter might fit with this. You know, just
Okay.
a big burly rock man busting into burning buildings and saving the day.
Okay, so you're kind of like emergency services sort of dude. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I dig it.
So yeah, I'm just gonna throw Firefighter on there.
All right, I like it. And then, so Jeff, you said you drew astronaut, and what were your other ones?
Salvager and reporter. I'm now also thinking for tech wizard, I could be the Bear Witch Project.
Oh my gosh.
Tech wizard.
Mm.
Too much? Did I go too far?
Oh,
I went too far. All right, never mind. Barbarian. I'm sorry.
oh,
I was really the bear. Never mind.
it's okay. No, it's
I was reaching for it. It's just,
We could tell.
It was there to be had.
yeah.
it was
It's a
fun.
space game. You got to shoot for the stars.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. So for our general like team type, there's two primary team types, so we can always fudge it a little bit if we want. But the two primary team types that they put forward for this module is one is something more along the lines of like you're a cosmic alliance. You know, the team is composed of heroes who have some connection to the galaxy beyond Earth. Some or all of the members of your team might be extraterrestrials, or you might be Earthbound heroes whose mission is to protect the world from extraterrestrial threats. So this can be things like the Infinity Watch, Star Force, things of that nature. You're kind of like a collective of a bunch of different groups sort of all working together. The other option is a little less like you're part of like a major cosmic alliance and just you're a Starship Crew. This team is made up of the crew of a starship, with each member of the team having a specific role on the vessel or within the squadron. You travel from world to world, taking on jobs to keep your ship running, sort of Guardians of the Galaxy Starjammer style.
Kind of like the last one.
I could see that, especially if we have an outlaw and a fugitive. That
Yeah.
does lend itself. Like you could still be doing good on the run, basically.
Yeah.
Starship Crew. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even one of the team formations has the jailbreak option too, so it sort of fits.
Okay. All right. So yeah, let's. I'll
make
start
that.
up with that, and there's kind of like a little list of questions to kind of go with it to help us flavor some things. And like Jeff mentioned, there's what's called a team formation. What brought the team together originally? Were you guys all initially hired as kind of like a ragtag crew? A third party hired you. You ended up choosing to stay together after that initial job. Was there a jailbreak? Members of your crew were imprisoned and escaped together, stealing your ship as a part of making your getaway.
We can go leverage style. Somebody hand selected us to be a team for a particular project, and we just kind of stayed together after.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll do that.
Maybe that's why you got escaped out too.
Mhm.
You're part of that crew.
That could be it. Yeah.
All right. I dig it. Kind of link those two on my sheet
German
here.
folk dancing group.
That's it.
Oh my. Of course.
Scrap everything. We're a German folk dancing group.
I'm not putting it past you guys. We could end up there.
We're the
What if?
Berenstein Bears.
Oh, shit.
What if we're the initial proprietors of Space Gankles?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Astronauty to the universe.
Okay.
It's a skankles.
It's a skank.
Space Gankles.
I love it. So for your crew, How do you think other people would describe your crew? Are you mostly freelancers? You know, your crew takes on jobs, mostly legal from other stellar citizens. Are you maybe closer to being space pirates? You know, your crew calls piracy their trade, preying upon the rich space travelers. Maybe you're smugglers. You carry contraband from one starport to another and trying to avoid the prying eyes of spaceport authorities. Or maybe you're just mercenaries. You know, you're hired guns, lending your might to whichever side can pay the most. Or something else. Those are just like the initial ones listed out there.
I'm not a huge fan of like the outright pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I'm supposed to be, you know, my thought for my character is like I have to help people and I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Maybe
go smuggler then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Smuggler sounds fun. What's
We're
that?
pirates, but we have letters of mark, so we're pirating for
privateers.
people we're allowed to pirate
Yeah.
from.
Oh yeah,
I'm cool with-
legitimate pirates.
I'm cool with privateers.
Legitimate pirates.
That's
I mean, someone did hire us for a job, so that could be how
Could have
we
been the
got
government.
Private, yeah.
oh, it's a
how
Nice.
corporation. It's a mega corp.
Oh my god, we're the
hired
A team now, but in space.
Oh my god,
Okay, so I'm writing privateers
probably not the A team
slash
as much as
A
the B
team
team
in
though.
space.
The D team.
not even the B or the C team.
Chuck will make sure to deliver the D for the D team.
That's true.
I do kind of love the idea of an A team in space. I'm not going to lie. All right. And so, of course, you know, you guys all have like a big part of, you know, what you guys have together is your own individual skills, but you do have your own starship. What's your starship like? Is it like cutting edge, a top of the line model, well maintained?
I feel like it's
got
got to be just like a bucket of bolts.
It
That's
is.
got some fancy tricks.
And
It smells like a pet store.
I just want to put it out there. We all know the name of the spaceship already.
It's the
Yeah.
Hot Pocket.
It's the Hot Pocket.
It's the Hot Pocket.
The Hot Pocket used to be a cargo delivery ship to just move manure from one planet to another.
That's it.
Oh my God.
It just smells like a constant feed store. It's just it's awesome.
The second option was hunk of junk.
Yep.
So I'm checking hunk of junk and I'm writing Hot Pocket.
Yep.
But the barbarian, he loves the smell of it. It's just he's like,
It's just like
it's
home.
great in here. It just smells great in here, guys.
It's the smell of fertility.
Writing down X manure transport. 'Cause that's wonderful. Manure transport. I love it. Okay, I love it. All right. So that gets us through a good bit of that. And the next part is in most of the superhero games, you have like a home city. So this is where we'll have to get a little bit creative in how we want to do our what would typically be a home city is going to be harder to do if most of the time you guys are on a spaceship. So we could say maybe there's a particular spaceport that you frequently go back to, or maybe there's a colony that has like a couple of moons that you sort of like.
Cankles.
That's
It's got to be a space bar. It definitely has to be a space bar.
Okay.
It's a giant space station called the Space Bar.
Just the space bar.
It's just like a Chili's.
Yeah.
It's just like the most cliche. Like,
I don't know
fake
if,
kitsch on the walls.
If any of you've ever seen Space Dandy or not,
Mm-hmm.
just they've got basically like a giant space Hooters, and that's like their go-to place. It's like a whole space station that's like just a Hooters restaurant, and that's like their go-to place.
But it fits with the Space Bar being like a Chili's.
Yeah.
It's like maybe each segment of the space bar is like devoted to a different theme. Like one of them you've got Skankles, and one of them you've got 50s Diner in space.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if we really wanted to make it, someplace where we were slumming, we can make it a Space Applebee's.
I want to
Waffle
Space
House.
Olive Garden.
Space Waffle House.
I love
It's
it.
the bad Denny's.
Yeah.
The good Denny's is in a different solar
Of
system.
course. So I know it'll be, relative for you guys, but for time frame, do we want to just assume this is at least at some point in the future, or do we? Okay. I'll do that because sometimes you can set it to where you're doing a space campaign and stuff's going on back at Earth, but being a little bit in the future is fun. All right. I'm just going to immediately check to we're doing this in a fake place. All right. Now here's a fun one. So we're going to say like the space bar, the space Applebee's is kind of like the main feature, but there's going to be a lot of other hubs nearby it, whether or not there's like small colonies nearby or like there's a collection of stuff around the area. Like almost I remember growing up in Missouri, I had certain towns where it felt like 70% of the town was like a collection of truck stops. I feel like this is almost like a space truck stop town sort of thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something that makes this particular area different from other areas. Some of the options that are put forth are like advanced technology, organized crime, some sort of like pariah ghetto, scarred by a disaster, dimensional rift.
Has the best truck lizards.
What's that?
If you don't know the reference, never mind.
I get that reference.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
He said
Just
it's
didn't
got
hear
the best truck lizards. Or, lot
I missed
lizards.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I kind of like the crime one. Like we're hanging around like Nar Shaddaa, Nal Hutta, or whatever it is.
Okay.
Like the gangster controlled section of space.
I dig it. So what that does is that's going to check off that another thing we're going to work on together is to build a crime syndicate that we think would be fun.
Okay.
So I'll get into that.
Also, the fact that we hang out in a crime-ridden zone might also give some, reason why we would maintain a sort of secret identity thing. Like we're hanging around all these people who would otherwise cut our heads off.
Yeah. So there's another part here that kind of talks about like areas, districts, boroughs, neighborhoods, like different sections of this area. We don't have to hit all of these all at once, but just something to keep in mind. We want to think of like, this is already sort of like a seedy place, but there should be one part of it that's like clearly the equivalent of the bad neighborhood. Like this is already, there's a crime syndicate, but there should be at least one place where it's like, no, you don't go there. There would also be something that would be like more of your commercial center where like deals get done. And kind of tied with that, there, maybe a financial district, if anything that feels right. Usually they also like try to look for if there's like an older section, like an old part of town or the equivalent, and something that's closer to like a suburb or like a trendy spot. If anything comes to mind that sounds fun for any of those.
Okay. I guess we
I
should
don't know.
go ahead.
I was thinking like for the seedy part of town, it could be like the Burnout or something like that.
The Burnout, that sounds great. Like, because actually, you can have all these
Sound of that.
crazy jet engines and stuff.
Yeah.
The Burnout. It's a fun name.
It's basically where all the truly disreputable people that you can't really get rid of. It's where they all go to nurse their hangovers and whatever else they get up to.
I like it.
And there's sort of an unspoken understanding that you just don't cross over into that zone without begging for trouble, essentially.
Gotcha. I dig it. All right.
Either
that's
you
fun.
belong there and you know it, or you don't belong there and you know it.
Yeah.
Good. I like that. Some other things just to like, again, we don't have to like do all of these right now, but just to potentially have in the back of your head. Another thing that it talks about is like maybe thinking about what could be major landmarks here at the space bar. Usually there's going to be at least some form of nominal government building.
Okay.
The degree of it can vary from location to location. A place like this sounds like they probably have a pretty minimal presence, but they'd probably have at least some sort of government presence.
Some kind of
Somebody who's definitely on the take.
Oh yeah, space bureaucrats or something like that. That way the organized crime can easily stay within the confines of the law while still being super shitty.
Gotcha.
It's like a space station. We could always say it's like the station, like management area or the bridge or something like that. Whoever, like the control center or something like that for the.
Okay. Maybe they even just call it the bridge, even though it's not like a legitimate spaceship. It's just that's the slang for it. It's the bridge. Space station control sort of thing.
Can always think about adding like other landmarks in the nearby like area wherever solar system is or something like that, like a planet that we're orbiting around or something like that.
For sure. Like there can always be things that are nearby. The idea is that like whatever landmarks or neighborhoods we think of, they need to be close enough to each other that they can reasonably interact. They don't have to be right next to each other if we're doing a space thing. You can always, if a shuttle could reasonably reach it without it being a major, trip.
We could do like the space station kind of that's right outside of like a gas giant or something like that. And all of these different kind of like, areas or whatever are different moons kind of orbiting.
Mm-hmm.
So like the really affluent neighborhood or whatever you want to call it is just, one of the most temperate moons, circles like right around the equator or something like that. So it's,
tolerable all the time.
Yeah.
I had a bizarre idea for the like the shopping business area or whatever.
Okay.
And it's just a terrible pun, just a shopping center, but it's on the center of a planet. Like the planet's hollow on the inside, and there's a shopping center that wraps around the inside of it.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Commercialize the hollow Earth theory. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Hollow Earth.
It's center like SENTER.
No, I love it. Yeah. Maybe honestly, that's what all this stuff is rotating around. Like the planet itself has just been hollowed out. Like maybe it used to be a major mining station or something like that.
Yeah.
But they just bled that planet dry. And then they just kept building stuff inside of it anyways, because it was just
people just kept coming.
Free real estate.
Yeah, people kept coming. Okay, that's fun. Maybe the some of the maybe some of the traveling stuff that was set up around this area was maintained, so it still was like a travel hub sort of location. Okay.
Parking on the outside, shopping center on the inside.
Nice.
Well, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, we could have giant hollow planet instead of a gas giant, and then still have like all these different moons around it, space station.
Instead of having high-rise apartments, you could just have like low-bore apartments.
That'd be kind of cool. Like the big old apartments that's straight down in the center in the shopping center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a historic building that we would link to that? Like to this being a hollowed out planet?
Maybe the old, initial like mining offices for whatever corporation hollowed the planet out.
The core control.
Just like a giant bust of some guy's head who took over the place at the start.
Okay. I'll just put old mining reference, and we'll wing it if and when we need it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is like if somebody looks upon this cluster? What's kind of the iconic skyline feature?
It's
non-star mining.
It's got to be like as you're approaching it from space, like whatever this planet like revolves around. So either like little like blue dwarf star or some shit like that, or like a mini black hole where its sun collapsed but hasn't sucked everything in.
I think you might be muted, Jeff. I'm not sure. Or maybe
Sorry,
you
I was
mentioned.
just mumbling.
Oh, okay.
If it's a black hole, we could call it, whatever's, asshole or something like that.
So if the place is a mining or was a mining area,
Mhm.
so maybe they purify whatever they mine there. So these got these blast furnaces that run 24/7. So there's just these huge shooting flames that come out that are visible from space.
Oh, so you just
From all
see the
these
silhouette from all
refineries.
those finds. So a
Yeah.
little bit like I just lost the name for where Darkseid's from.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, so you kind of get a little bit of apocalypse vibe going on.
Maybe they could call it the disco ball because of all the like points of light coming off of the round shape.
That's cool.
Okay, I'm down with that. Ever burning refineries. Awesome. Do you think there's any chance that these guys participate in some sort of like intergalactic sporting to where they would have a sports arena?
Hate to say it. Pod racing.
We could do like a space like boxing martial
Ooh.
arts thing or something.
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Like
the barbarian would clearly
Uh-huh.
Okay.
be part
Okay.
of that shit.
The 0G MMA.
Base wrestling.
Now, do we think this
Space
is like
wrestling.
a legitimate sort of like, something would be like where you have a league sort of thing? Or is this like you come here to go do the Kumite sort of deal?
I assume that this is like all scummy, rigged fights and things like that.
It's
betting and gambling.
Yeah, it's a little shady. I mean, it's a crime syndicate that runs this
Yeah.
place, so it's like bare neck, old school bare knuckle boxing fights. Get
Yeah.
it? Bare knuckle.
Well, maybe it's like the National Wrestling Alliance, where all the different territories and regions of the world have their own little thing for pro
Okay.
wrestling that's overseen by a.
I like it. So you might still get some cross, region promotion sort of stuff going on. But for the
Right.
most part, you've got your own neck of the woods. All right. I like that.
Every now and then, the sort of interplanetary champion comes through and stages a big fight to drum up interest.
I am all for that.
They started doing it less when they had their knees broken in that one fight.
Yeah.
Is the space bar itself the tallest building in this thing, or do we think we want to have something else?
No,
be
it's the longest.
it's the longest. Scratch out tallest.
It actually wraps around like the whole section.
Oh
on the
yeah.
inside.
Nice.
Oh, so it's a space donut.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Bar wraps around.
Oh man, if we're going in that road, instead of the burnout, we could call it the backspace.
Backspace. Okay. There we go. I'll go back up to Bad Neighborhood. We'll call it Backspace. I dig it. All right. All right. I'm liking this. All right. I think we hit a lot of stuff on that. We can fill in some other blanks a little bit later as we go along. So another spot that is like picking 2 or 3 words that best describe how the city feels. So you can have stuff like, it's anachronistic, it's bustling, it's cutting edge, it's dangerous, diverse, dreary, dystopian, idyllic, oppressive, overcrowded, run down, sprawling, towering, verdant, wealthy.
I could see where sprawling might fit.
They just keep building on top of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Kind of the Necromunda hive thing where like the higher you are, the more prosperous you
The more
are,
fluent you are.
lower down.
Yeah, if you're actually living under the crust of this broken
Mhm.
planet, that's like when you're
Mm.
the
Yeah.
lowest of the low. But if you're somebody who actually gets to live on one of the moons, like Dan was talking about, like one of those nice temperate moons, that's how you know
Yeah.
you've made it, when you're not even stuck on the planet anymore. Okay. I'm assuming it's a dangerous place from what's
Yeah.
been described.
Yeah.
Do we feel like it's fairly diverse since it's a space hub?
I think
what I was
so.
thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tons of different aliens and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the idea that you could run across who knows what here. You might have some regulars, but
You know, some big guy and a robot's hanging out with a bear and a, you know, it's perfectly normal.
yeah, somehow your crew fits in. That's a pretty diverse place in my name or in my opinion. So another question is, how common are powered heroes? You know, however you want to flavor your powers as they may be, but like all of you are cut above like the working Joe that stays here. Like you're not just mercenaries. You freaking superheroes, however you want to flavor it. Is this a place where they're everywhere? Like just this place is jam-packed with lots of powerful individuals? Or maybe you just cross paths with other supers from time to time? Or is it more like I saw one once?
Hmm.
Kind of like
If this is like considered a crime area, it could be the reason why it's never been cleaned out. You know, maybe there's a lot of super people here.
To some extent, I think that's fun, especially if you're going with like there's just all sorts of crazy stuff here.
like each minor crime family, their job is to recruit the most supers. That way they can get the edge up.
That's fun. Yeah, you have a
That would
constant.
that'd also be like, you know, hey, a superhero is operating out of this place. Well, get that. That's where all those guys supervillains come from.
Mm,
Because he's
Nice.
not on the take.
I like it. Well, that kind of ties in with the next question. How often do superpowered villains menace the city?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What time is it? Yeah, I think
It's not so much that they menace the city. It's just they're
They're
there.
active all the time.
That's how the city operates.
I was gonna
Okay.
say
Yeah.
most super villain menacing is,
Drunken.
either drunken or, gang related, mob related.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it can be like semi-orderly, but when something goes spiraling out of control, it's just like, yeah, another day.
Mm-hmm. All right, I
And
dig
to
it.
execute the electric man and stick him in the rubber chair.
God damn.
So next question kind of depends on how we want to apply it to this sort of setting. But the next question is typically, how does the general public feel about powered heroes? And I think in a setting like this, it probably does apply to like if you're actually doing heroic things. Like we've pretty much established you've got a lot of supers and criminal stuff going on. But in general, how does this place feel about like a legitimate superhero? Like if you're going around being a Boy Scout,
Goodish.
what do they think?
Depends on if their insurance is paid up.
Yeah. Well, one thought is like, the everyday non-powered citizens would probably hate us, presuming we're all on the take and getting ready to shake them down.
Okay.
Whereas, other supers or these, mob families or whatever,
Mhm.
if we're not on the take, they probably hate us if we're out there actually doing legit superhero work,
Okay.
So
A bunch
like
of
the
people
populace,
who buy the Daily Bugle.
so like the populace in general expect superpowered people to all be criminals.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's an unusual thing when you do something to help.
There's one option that's called respected but warily. Like
Yeah, I think that would fit.
Yeah.
you
that
you
works.
almost feel like if you did something nice, they would expect there to be a cost.
Yeah.
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 Or
Okay.
maybe what did you have to do with starting it to begin with?
Yeah.
Yeah. know,
So
How are you trying to earn credit from me this time? You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
what kind of scam are you running?
The first time we say the world is free, you got to pay after that.
Yep. So we know that for the most part, this place is run by crime, but in general, maybe not specifically the space station that's right next to you, but as a whole, like maybe from outside authorities, how do you think authorities feel about the powered heroes of this region?
They're probably pissed off about it.
Yeah, I'm assuming they probably don't have a real good viewpoint of people that operate out of this region. Is
Yeah.
that fair?
Like
Yeah,
legitimate
maybe they're like, there's-
law enforcement hates us, but I'm sure there's like plenty on the take.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty on the
Like
table.
maybe
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I'll say maybe like the crime levels have gotten to a point of homeostasis. So like everything's copacetic as long as you don't rock the power structure. So
Mhm.
whenever new people come in, there's always that possibility that you're going to throw things out of balance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm thinking, especially if there's any authorities that are outside of the space bar region, I think almost any authorities outside of here are just going to assume you're all criminals.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
what I mean,
operate
like,
out of here, you're all
Yeah.
criminals.
outside of here, they probably hate this place because it's just too tough of a nut to crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of hands off.
It's a
try to
dry
keep-
county where everybody knows where the local moonshiner lives. It's just it's an open secret.
leave them
Nice.
alone, but try not to let anything come out.
Yeah.
All right. So the last one can be a little fun because if we're in a space age campaign, media can, be across a wide region, well beyond here. How do you think the media portrays heroes from this region?
Oh, they're probably getting paid. So,
It would probably hate us too.
but they probably
Daily
talk
Bugle
about all
writes
the,
about us.
they probably talk about all the terrible things that they're doing,
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, if it's a mob owned media, then
Mm-hmm.
They bought school lunches for all the kids at the school the other day or something like that,
I might kind of I'm doing like a little arc between. So like maybe the media that's isolated to where you actually are, you might actually be celebrities on small, like little microcosms. You might be celebrities, but
Yeah.
big picture, much like the authorities, anybody from the outside looking in just assumes the worst of you.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where that media is. Like internally, I assume that they're getting paid off by one criminal organization or another. Got to
right.
run your cover ups and things.
And the last one, which from my previous experience, this is going to be pretty rare it would come up, but it could. For the general vibe of this sort of setting, the question is, how often do superheroes die in the line of duty? And this is meant to be a two-edged sword because it implies, like, if you guys are just murdering everybody you come across, that will switch it over to where, the same will come from villains. Are we in a place where it's pretty rare for major characters to get killed? Does it happen every now and then? Or is this cutthroat? People die all the time.
I just, with what we kind of set up, I kind of like the cutthroat.
I agree. I was thinking that too.
Okay.
Feels like it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So all the time, supervillains show no mercy, and to be a hero is to be a soldier on the front lines of battle. Death is a constant peril of the job. For the most
Yeah.
part, what that impacts is like if you ever go to zero in combat, the level of lethality you have impacts how likely it is your character will actually die. You can do like a 4-color campaign where it's nearly impossible to actually die. Or you can basically play a 90s comic where it's just happening left and right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that gives us a pretty fun start. What else do we want to do? So after we've kind of touched base on some of that, I know we had a couple of folks that were sort of on the fence. Is everybody feeling a little bit better about like what sort of roles do you think you guys want to normally be doing? Like whether
So I
it's
did
for
take
the
the
ship
doctor.
or sorry.
I did take the doctor as my profession, so I'll probably ship's doctor.
I
Okay.
think I'm gonna end up going with salvager. It sort of fits what we're doing, I think, better than reporter and astronaut. Like astronaut is funny, but it's more about like, I mean, I could do it. It's not that bad. It's like read the situation, drive or fly. I guess I could pilot. Like, do we have anybody? You know,
That's a good question. Can anybody pilot?
because I do have fly.
That may come up.
I can do anything else.
So yeah, if you take astronaut, you can be our pilot.
Okay, I'll go astronaut then.
I love that the giant bear is your pilot.
I assume that there's like extra large everything in order for him to pilot it.
I'm a
Starting
clump
to
of
wonder if-
fur on the wind.
I mean, maybe that's why you've never upgraded to a better ship. Like you had to stick with this hunk of junk because it's the only thing he can fit in.
Yeah.
But he's tough as nails and he's a damn good pilot. So
I could also use a computer and analyze data pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's handy.
smart barbarian.
Does
You're
that
probably
mean?
the smartest out of all of us.
Does that make you our captain?
I think so. Captain Barian.
You know what happens when someone becomes captain? Like
They
they don't last
die.
long. I'm totally gonna die.
yeah.
Oh god.
Don't worry, I can be our red shirt.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna send Dan on all the away missions. Can I bring someone with it? No, it's just you. Just go
Just
check it out. It'll be fun.
have fun.
Radio back.
Here's a stick. Go down it.
Here's this.
Go down there and poke some things and see how it's like.
I love it. Okay, so we've got a doc, we've got a captain. Which
Jake or Dan or either of you set up for mechanicking?
I've got a 50% chance to do anything else.
I'm good at sneak, disguise, run, climb, jump, tumble, or lie.
If it helps, one of mine is break something.
Ooh, I can be on comms.
okay.
I can carry, push, or pull something, so I can load
You're
or
the roughneck
unload
of
the
the
ship as
crew.
needed. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you always need that.
You two
Okay,
can
so-
be our roughnecks. That's it.
Roughnecks isn't bad for like a crew name or whatever. I can put that down tentatively. Why
I
not?
don't remember. Was that what is that movie? Is that Starship Troopers? Is that what they were called in Starship Troopers?
Oh yeah.
Rico's Roughnecks.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
None of us are named Rico because he was a previous captain and he died. But we just kind of kept it.
Nice.
Hot pocket.
Okay. So we've got our robot comms officer who does heroic things but hates it.
Uh-huh.
We've got our giant bear astronaut captain. We've got our darkness and energy manipulation friendly goth doctor. We've got our powerhouse roughneck or, push pull bend bar lift gates dude. And then what's our starfarer doing over there?
Gosh, I'm not helpful on the crew, I don't think. My top skills are brawl with someone, goad someone, sneak around, break something, use a weapon.
I mean, that sounds like it. Well, you said you're outlaw, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just the perfect local for this place.
Yeah, I'm not useful on the ship though.
No, but you're kind of a fantastic point man on the. You are the red shirt. Like, okay, time to dock and go mix with the locals.
I wasn't kidding when I said I'm the red shirt.
Well, okay. I think we got your superhero name.
You're red
The
shirt.
red shirt.
The red shirt. That may have to replace my idea.
That is fun. All right, I feel like we've got a pretty good setting for like where you guys hang out. We've got a pretty good idea for like the sorts of characters you're gonna do. Yeah, we could go back and dig more into some of the districts or some of the landmarks and stuff. Oh no, you know what we need
Crime
to do?
Syndicate. Yeah.
Because we chose organized crime, I need to go pull up the crime syndicate
Yeah.
page.
Are you guys all taking 3 powers or 2? I
took
usually do
3.
2. I'm thinking about going with a third.
I'm thinking about sticking with 3. I thought about just doing 2.
Mhm.
But I kind of want power mimicry to be my number 1 power, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I don't
it
have
just
any powers this time or anything like that trigger off of hero points like I did with my last guy. So kind of thinking I just don't need as many.
I was gonna ask, will we have team roles in this as well still? or-
Yes, we'll still do team roles.
Okay.
Yeah, none of mine trigger off hero points either.
None of mine
my
trigger off hero
powers.
points other than
Nice
my
strength in
my
there.
skill or whatever. But when we have team roles, those trigger off hero points usually too.
Yeah, if you want, like, so team roles are things like, let's see if I can pull it up on the page here. But you'll have things like a striker can spend hero points to do bonus melee damage. A artillery person can spend hero points to do bonus range damage. You can have controllers that give chaos dice to enemies to make them more likely to mess up. You can have people that heal others. You can have a team role that helps you tank for others by spending a hero point. You can have,
I was the booster last time, and mine was manipulating the dice rolls.
Yep.
I did
So a lot-
striker inside. That's what I was usually burning hero points on because that's how I was able to do so much damage.
Yes. Yeah, Jeff would
Our base-
often start a fight by saying, I have 3 to 4 hero points. I'm going to do an extra 80 points of damage. Okay, all those minions are dead.
I don't think that's going to be my role this time. I think I'm more tankish this time because I do have with my champion ability, I like heal whenever we defeat stuff. So
The combination of armor and
I have
champion is
armor.
really nice.
sort of feel like
I
I'm
don't think I want to
tanky.
do booster again either.
Okay.
Maybe something else.
We can also rotate them too, like we always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
comes out.
true. You don't have to stick with your role, do you?
Nope, you can always swap it out. So if you've got something that feels fun one game, the main thing is you're kind of asked to choose it at the beginning of a session, or maybe if you have a story arc that goes more than one session, basically before any sort of story arc starts. You know, that you've kind of congealed what role you're in whenever a particular arc starts. So I pulled up the page for Crime Syndicate. We don't have to do a name just yet, but if anybody has something that just sounds like a fun, catchy name for a Crime Syndicate, I'm very open to it.
It's always a color and a spatial anomaly. That's the best
Okay.
combo for a space crime syndicate. So like the purple quasar or some shit like that.
Okay. I'll make a note of color plus anomaly. And maybe when we answer some of the other questions, we might come back on that. But that's a good naming convention. I 100% agree. So one of the big things is this, like the people that are at least like easily identified of this syndicate, how are they visually identified? How can you spot them from a distance? Do they wear expensive clothing, like well-tailored outfits that mesh with the current fashion trends, and they just stand out in a crowd? Is it maybe a group that has like unique tattoos that they cover all over themselves that can be just, picked up really easily? Do they maybe wear themed masks and costumes, like some sort of aesthetic, whether it's from culture or mythology or something like that? Or is it possible that they're a gang that they aren't visually identified? They're just amidst the crowd.
I don't know. I like tattoos. Seeing as, if there's all these different like sub mob families, like there's like one main aspect of the tattoo, and then how they add like flourishes or accents to it denotes what particular section.
I
Or
dig
even
that.
like the height on your body. So the lower you go, the worse off you are.
I remember, like, for whatever reason, I went down the rabbit hole of rewatching some of the old Overwatch, like, movies or whatever, like the little videos.
Yeah.
And I loved the gang that Soldier 76 comes across, that when they come into blacklight, you see the tattoos come up like they have the regular tattoos, and then black light will cause like another layer of tattoo to show up.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
neat idea. Yeah.
Galen just said that in chat too. Like,
Oh, seriously?
glowing
Oh, nice.
tattoos. He was
Yeah.
like sort of leaning
See,
towards
like,
that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they
Facial
don't
tattoos
necessarily have to be obvious, which I kind of like the idea of that. You know,
Yeah, like the tattoos are typically going to be a sign, but you may not be immediately aware of what their station is or some of the more specifics that would come
Ooh.
up from that.
And you could do AR kind of like tattoo things where they look normal as is, but if you got, whatever AR goggles or whatever that most people
Mhm.
wear, they have like animations or whatever over them connotating their gang, or the glowing tattoos are visible or whatever.
Okay, I like that a lot. That gives a fun gimmick. So I think this one, I can pretty well guess what we want to do with this one. Do these branches, does this syndicate have powered members?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the options are like few, many, or only hired contractors. I feel like from what we were talking about earlier, it sounds like many,
Yeah.
but with a blend of hired contractors. Like they probably have a pretty good stable, but they're not above hiring a heavy hitter if they need to.
yeah.
So there's room for temp work.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, okay, we've got a regular stable, but if somebody's been too big of a thorn in the side, they might hire outside the group.
Yeah.
Elder
Okay.
tattoos from the expanse, but they glow.
I like that.
Ooh.
Somebody's gonna have to explain that to me. I haven't seen The Expanse yet.
I put it in my list. I've been told I need to watch it.
Who are you people to me? You haven't seen Ice Pirates. You haven't seen The Expanse. I just don't know who you are anymore, Jeremy.
I'm sorry.
That's a print screen.
Add that to the folder.
Bastard.
Collection of Jeremy's grows today.
All right. I think this next question we've kind of already touched base on. How openly does the syndicate operate? Is it complete secrecy? Is it an open secret? Or at least in this region, do they just act with impunity?
Act with impunity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's got to be it. I mean,
Yeah.
This is like a company town sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like, most everything's pretty casual and normalish, and then if something goes wild, oops.
Okay, I dig it. Now, obviously, like they have control of a pretty major space hub here. Maybe not just for here, but kind of big picture. What is it that makes this syndicate different from other gangs in the galaxy? Do they have advanced technology? Are they maybe backed by some sort of hostile nation? Are they otherworldly? Or maybe are they a corporate front?
Otherworldly or advanced technology? Maybe?
Ooh, other dimensional.
Okay.
Like the heads or the number one bosses are all from like another dimension.
Ooh, some friend shit.
I'm not against that. Yeah, otherworldly can be members of the syndicate are all aliens, demons, or some other kind of supernatural or other dimensional creature. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
So if we do otherworldly and we want to have them be like from some sort of different dimension, like how would we want to flavor that? Like, I'm very open to it.
The dimension that the event horizon went to.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Ooh. That's
Like the way you think
terrifyingly
about it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like an apocalypse planet then.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We just like built the Reaver homeworld. From
Man, this went from like this planet just got much darker if we're doing that.
Well, plus it ties into like, we went to hell a bunch in that
Yeah.
game. So I mean, like, there's ways to tie it back to like our if that's what we're looking to do at some point.
Yeah, no, but that gives us
Callbacks
excuses
and
to tie
things.
things
Yeah.
from a couple of different campaigns, in all honesty.
But if we go like the Dungeons and Dragons devil route, like they're always kind of like they don't all have to be like chaotic. They can be like lawful evil, controlled evil.
No, I actually like the idea that it's more of a lawful evil. So maybe like I like the Event Horizon reference, but maybe it's a little more on the lawful evil bent. Like that's they are organized, they're blatantly evil, but you maybe even have factions amidst them, like they're constantly jockeying against each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to control the elements of galactic civilization that could, if left unchecked, destroy itself. It's either they take control of the whole thing with an iron fist, or you've got a potential galaxy full of supervillains just vying for everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I'm down for that. That's a lot of fun.
Which also then gives credence to why the government at large would be like, okay, we'll let them do their own thing over here.
Yeah, nobody wants to actually come in here, but at the same time, anything that comes out of this place, everybody outside of here just like that's freaking place is overrun by, I mean, demons, maybe. I don't know. I wonder what the outsiders would even call these folks. But I like your color plus anomaly thing, because especially if there's like alternating branches, like you might have a core name, but then you might have slight variations for different factions.
Did we go with like the black hole thing? Because it's like that. I mean, like a hellhole. Then like that's what you think about.
Oh yeah, I can easily.
So this planet revolves around a black hole that's called the hellhole.
Okay.
That might, in fact, go to hell.
Yeah.
All right.
We affectionately just call it the bung hole.
It's the ass end of the galaxy.
Exactly. The ass end of the galaxy.
The hellhole ass end. I'm going to do that quote.
Yeah.
Welcome to the hellhole.
It's due
Ass
until
end of the galaxy. You guys are secretly doing your best to do good deeds here and there amidst this really terrible place.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Okay, so knowing that these are like some weird sort of like demonic otherworldly things, what's a fun... I mean, Red Devils is too lazy.
what are we doing right now?
I was trying to think of like a name for the Syndicate.
Red Horizon. It's like the Event Horizon off a black hole.
Okay.
Or I don't know.
I'm not against it.
I suppose Hell's Angels would be too on the nose.
I mean, Red Horizon's not bad for like the group as a whole. Like they're trying to expand the Red Horizon across the galaxy. And then
There is a name for the belt around a black hole where it's like that's the last possible place you can be before you're being sucked in. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh,
Is that the accretion disk? No, that's something else, right?
Accretion disk is the rubble that surrounds it.
Okay.
Oh man.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. And it's
accretion disk.
Uh,
I think that's what Galen's tossing up there for us.
Yeah, Event Horizon, yeah.
Is that
Nice.
the actual name of the?
Yeah, I think that's-
the no-go. Like once you're past that point, you're done.
Yeah, that's the point of no
Okay.
return.
All right.
Dig it. Well, I feel like we've gotten a really good session 0 here. Like, is anybody feeling a name at this point for their characters?
Jeff and I got ours because it's on the
Yeah, I got
overlay.
mine too. Yeah.
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 Oh, what's yours, Bert?
Gloom.
Just barbarian. I love it.
With the
Chrome
bear.
shot. Nice.
Bear has to be all caps.
Okay, bear has to be okay.
It
Okay.
has to be.
I think instead of powerhouse, I would like to be a dual form.
Oh yeah,
Hero.
like sort of like your Human Torch sort of thing, or
Yeah.
okay.
Except
yeah, go
instead of fire, it's rocks. And I'll go with the Metamorph as hero name.
Nice.
Okay, I like it.
The Metamorph or just Metamorph?
Either one.
Like that.
Kind of like Batman or the Batman.
Yeah.
And Bart, you said Gloom, right?
Yeah.
Now we just need Dan.
I was thinking Nomad.
Nomad's not bad. We'll all secretly just call you Red Shirt, but Nomad's like Nomad is the name that you chose for yourself. We'll see how many.
Yeah, but I wear a red shirt every day to work.
Mhm.
Nomad's what we all call you, but then everybody's like, kill the guy in the red shirt.
Yes. All right. Well, I think we got almost all our session 0 stuff, but I think sometimes I've seen some people argue against it, but I kind of like sometimes whenever players are invited to help create a villain here and there. So if you guys could choose, would you rather choose creating an alien queen or a zealot?
Alien
Because the
Queen?
queen could be like part of one of the syndicates.
Could be.
Yeah.
Like the ruler, like top dog.
Well, so
of
could
all
a
the
zealot too.
Yeah, it depends on, at what level we want to place him at. Because like the queen could be like a high up in one of them.
Well, what if we did like the hierarchy is the main boss is the queen, and then the leader of all the different houses are called zealots.
Do that. I haven't read through all the modules to see how the queen rules and stuff. But you know what? For now, we're just going to build the queen and we'll roll with it. And if I need to switch something up later, we will. All right. So Alien Queen, this villain is the leader of, there's like a swarm minion type. But they're elevated above their drones, both in influence and physical form. This villain commands the mindless hordes of the swarm to do whatever bidding they choose. So the initial inspiration is meant to be similar to like a Brood Queen from Marvel, but we can easily switch it up if we so like.
Yeah, that could work just as well for like the Borg or something like that.
So one of the first questions is physical superiority. How is this villain physically different from the standard swarms that it will command? Is it ensconced, like it's large and bloated and nearly immobile? It's like almost rooted in a nest somewhere. Is it more humanoid? Is it something where it's adapted itself to more easily blend in with humanoids and other creatures? Or is it just towering? Is it just a major, large behemoth of a creature?
Ooh, I like the idea that she can pass as just a normal human,
Yeah.
easily.
I like the idea of humanoid,
Yeah.
show
Oh
up to
God,
those
imagine
pos-
like people stomp out whatever world has been completely and totally taken out. Except the queen is a humanoid disguised on another world, just beginning the cycle all over again.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Sort of
also-
like Kerrigan style from StarCraft
Yeah,
or something.
I heard somebody else start to toss something.
Well, I was just thinking it kind of adds to the creepiness of the faction if they're like we're thinking like Event Horizon where all of these bosses are just these terrible monstrosities, but they just bow down to this regular ass looking lady.
I like that.
And it's also a nice little inversion of, weird looking superheroes versus normal looking supervillain.
She looks way normal compared to all of you.
Yeah.
So that's her.
Oh. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, after you, man.
I was going to say, what if the thing is that she produces like some kind of worm that's how she gets her swarm. It goes into whatever humanoid or whatever indigenous life form
Mhm.
gets in and it controls them.
I like that.
Could even be like,
Like
a
the whole Star Trek worm in the ear thing.
Yeah, like that,
Yeah.
or almost like Shan from
Oh,
some of
man.
your.
I
brain
always loved
slugs
that
from Futurama.
storyline.
Mind
Early Star
flayers.
Trek,
Yeah.
What's
Next
that?
Generation with the thing. The early
Uh-huh.
Star Trek one that Bert was
Yeah.
just talking about.
Mm-hmm. I love
Head
it.
blows up and the weird little. Yeah.
Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I'm definitely writing that down because I love it. So we've got her physical superiority. We've got a cool gimmick that she can do. The next step, it's not enough for her to have physical superiority. What gives her mental superiority compared to like the average members of the swarm? Is it?
Oh, that's it. Like when these worms go into other life forms,
Mhm.
like so she can see through your eyes, know what you're thinking, and she can just take over if she needs to.
Mass Effect.
So, like-
she assumes
Like a
direct
telepathy
control.
that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people are like mostly autonomous and unaware on their day-to-day lives, but when they're,
Yeah.
getting out of line.
Manchurian candidate sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm,
And that's when the mass breakout just happens.
okay. That ties kind of two of these together. It's not quite psychic, but it's close. And it's also pretty cunning. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's fantastic. And then one of the last things it asks for is a hint of history. What is something that would hint at this villain's unique history? Like they mentioned, they could have potential noticeable cybernetics. Maybe there is a visible scar that no matter how much it shifts itself, always kind of remanifests. Or
maybe.
is she prone to keeping trophies?
Maybe that's what the tattoos actually are. So like the more that she manifests control over something, the more of these tattoos show up.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Fighting someone, all of a sudden, tattoos just grow all over it.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha. So like once she manifests herself, even though she can disguise herself or make herself look humanoid, if she exerts that power, that's when it becomes visible. Okay, I like that.
It was kind of like Siren-esque from like Borderlands.
Uh-huh. That's fun. I like that. I gotta think of a fun name for her.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that gives me some fun. And if we're gonna do her, I'll actually probably flip back to the page before it. Because there's a minion type called the Swarm. And this might be like they're not even necessarily full-fledged gang members. These are just kind of like your I forget what the term for them are in some of your hellscape places, but they're just like they're worms, basically, like maybe worms that never got a chance to like infect somebody. They just worms that never get a host just develop into these things.
Like the
Sort of-
oh shit,
It
what are
can
they
be
called?
the people who
Mind
go and
Flayer.
get coffee.
Sort of like the mind flayer worms, except instead of turning into massive behemoths, they just if these worms don't get a host, they just turn into mooks. So she may actually have some that she intentionally doesn't give hosts just to have.
Yeah.
Go get me a coffee.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one of the first questions for these are like, what's their fundamental nature? Like these aren't like the developed ones. These are the worms that just they're just minions.
They're drones.
So their fundamental nature, are they cosmic horrors? Like alien monsters from the deep dark of space with tentacles, beaks, and other cephalopod traits? Are they maybe degenerate humanoids that like come close to looking like humans, but not quite? Are they just genetic monsters that might have been sentient at one point, but have been mutated on a genetic level or devolved? Are they maybe a little on the insectoid side? or more. I don't think technological quite fits for what we've gone so far.
Maybe that's
Any of
what
those
it is.
middle.
It's an insectoid thing. It's like the current body she has, the human body, which it's just her preferred host.
Mhm.
So so she's the queen that's in this human body.
Gotcha. So these things probably have almost like a straight up larva bent to them. Okay.
Yeah.
Would explain like all the crime and stuff, because like this is how, like the place she finds herself now, this is how you gather resources. You send your drones out to collect money, to collect power, to collect, whatever else.
Yes, I would imagine some of the older ones do look like a Mickey Rourke sort of person.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So there may actually be like, because sometimes you have like minions in this game, and then you'll have like a mini boss or like a named mook. So I'm actually gonna make a note. At some point, we will have a Mickey Rourke worm.
Mickey Mork.
Mickey Mork.
Maybe these worms.
Ricky
don't,
Mork.
Yeah, they don't. If they can't find a host, they form up into like a mass and take
like
on
it.
like humanoid-esque form, like a writhing mask or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Three
gross.
midgets in a trench coat.
Yeah.
I love it. So for a primary drive, what's the core primal drive that compels these creatures? Like they obviously they follow orders, but they probably have some base nature of their own. Do they just crave destruction? They're driven to destroy with a primal urge to tear down life and civilization if they weren't ordered? Do they have a hunger? Do they just seek to consume, driven by an insatiable hunger for nourishment that cannot be satisfied? Or infestation? Do they just seek to take over territory and transform it into their nest or hive or
I think
their home?
fits.
Yeah. It has to be
That
something
works.
that's not completely destructive. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like this weird society we have doesn't work. So
I kind of thought insatiable hunger before you even got started myself, but
Either hunger. I like the infestation thing. I mean, that's what these things are. They're
Yep.
Gotcha. And one of the last ones is Traversal of the Stars. How did these minions usually travel from planet to planet?
Yeah, new hosts. Like there's no limit to the range that the connection to the queen. There's there's no upper limit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the options they have is subtle parasites. They infest ships or crew members subtly, emerging when they reach their destination.
Yeah. She just has a sack of like eggs or whatever and gives it to an infected crew member who gets smuggled onto some world somewhere.
All the more reason everybody hates anything that comes out of the space hub, because there's always the risk that anybody who's made a stop here, like the rest of the galaxy, just wants to quarantine you guys.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but but then that becomes very obvious, and they would have just nuked the place out of existence. I would say more that no one knows.
Yeah.
like maybe the crime families. They're like everyone knows about the crime families. They're big, but it's like their leadership and their control, how they're controlling things, are very cloak and dagger hidden. Like only need to know.
Yeah. In a weird way, like the very public hiring of all these supers kind of masks the more subtle infestation.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, it looks like she's a mob boss that just keeps hiring all the biggest, baddest muscle from the galaxy, even hosting fighting tournaments that helps draw in more of those types. So most people probably don't have a reason to really be looking for the more subtle infestation.
I like that.
Okay. All right. I can't think of a name off the top of my head, but I like that setup. I feel like that's a really good.
I think the name has to be like something that's like really bland but biblical. Let's see. Biblical female names.
Like the Trojan Horde or some shit.
My knee jerk is Lucinda, but that just doesn't sound quite right.
Oh, for the queen.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And then also
Is
for like
Terry.
the swarm.
Bathsheba.
Lilith.
That's what I was looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Okay.
That
I
one's
can't.
that one's a little. I mean, it fits, but it's a little on the nose.
It is on the nose.
Yeah.
Oh, Leah. One of the most important biblical matriarchs. Basically, it means weary because she was the mother of so many.
Ooh, that's fun.
Mhm.
Leah,
AH.
Leah, mother of many, the weary.
I can kind of see that one working pretty well.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Those are even
subtle
kind of
thing.
fun nicknames. Like, despite all the power and stuff, she maybe carries herself just kind of the weary. That kind of adds a fun flavor to her. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I think you
Oh
guys,
yeah.
It's going to be a change of pace.
it will be very different. Ooh, Abaddon. Ooh, that's a fun one too. There'll be room for others. We'll have room for stuff. And I kind of like when we create villains together as well.
Yeah, Leah works. She was the wife of Jacob, whose name is Israel, which means the one who contests with God. That's,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, and of course, Israel got his name after wrestling Jacob, and we've got a wrestling organization here too.
Yeah, we do.
So
What do you call a wrestling, what do you like, especially if it's like at the freaking Hellmouth? What do you call
What did they call the one that was in Marvel? Like they had this league, like the Thing wrestled in it. What the heck did they call it?
To go for a terrible reference, Hell in a Cell.
remember when Leah threw all of mankind off of Hell in a Cell?
Is it Champion of the Universe? No. Cosmic Cube? No. That's not it.
Raptors.
Jake knew what I was going for.
I don't know.
I can't.
Got a suggested in the chat there too.
Yeah. Lucha Israel. Nice. I mean, one way that we know it's a blood sport.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nita Spectacularis.
I kind of like it, actually.
That's a fucked up Harry Potter spell right there.
Oh man, that would be horrible. I'm not against Space Yetis. In fact, there's a pretty decent chance if you catch me on an off night after a beer or two, we may have a Space Yeti just show up.
That's fantastic.
Because there's a part of me that almost wants to flip it and have the tournament be something like Heaven's Gate or something like that.
Yeah. It could be your way, to move up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Like all those movies, the movies where you do do their crazy obstacle course or whatever, and at the end you've got your promised out, but you never get out.
It's like American Ninja Warrior, except then you have to fight a guy who will kill you.
Do you know there's something called the Pillow Fight League? We're doing some research for names, and there's a Pillow Fight League, and I'm very excited about this.
Called the HGFF, Heaven's Gate Fighting Foundation.
Oh, is that
Apparently
a
it's a
thing?
Canadian thing too.
Huh.
Look at that.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not
Yeah, that's
too mad
true.
about this.
It's what they have up north that replaced MMA.
We'll have to yell at Matt
Canadian
about
version
that.
of Russian slap fighting.
Oh man, some of those videos for the
It's just
all right.
scary. Watching
Yeah.
people get rocked.
But not like apparently not that hard either. Sometimes those people look like if that was me, my face would just be off. Like just
Yeah. Somebody with silly putty my hand just
what if it was
Across
even
my head.
like a tower sort of thing, where like depending upon how high you reach.
sort of game of death.
Yeah, very
Sort of.
game of death. Like where like you can like okay, you beat the first level. Do you want to quit there and get your first level rewards? You can. Or do you want to push on to the second level? And it like there's kind of always like if you clear a level, you can quit there. Or do you
I
want to
mean-
gamble and try and push one higher?
if we want to go kind of old school on it, it's just a Tower of Babel.
I'm not against it.
Or, Tower Battle or the Battle Tower.
Battle
Yeah.
Tower.
Battle Tower. Yeah.
Okay.
My Marvel knowledge is lacking. I know like Luke Cage, The Thing, and there were several of them that were forced to fight in this. Well, actually, they weren't forced. They this like superpowers tournament sort of thing early in their careers. Cannot for the life of me remember what it was called though.
There was a really fun one like that where basically, yeah, the Thing and Hulk just get taken to an alien planet.
Yeah, well, that's Battle World for that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of an ascended champion. Ooh. Pinnacle of Perdition. Those are nice. I'll write those up inside as well.
Is it the Phoenix tournament?
Phoenix
Nice.
tournament?
That's what. No, I'm just what Bert was looking for.
no, it might have been. It was Powers something. It was in the title, I think. But this is early Marvel.
Oh, okay. Apparently, Howard the Duck fought in this.
Hmm,
No.
yeah.
With his quack foo. Oh my.
Yeah, maybe the whole thing is actually one of the things is to draw heroes here to fight in this thing because she needs a host
Mm-hmm.
to basically like for her to make a new queen, she needs a host.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the grand prize is actually she just sticks a worm in your ear and
Yeah, that's it. GG.
Congratulations. You've shown that you are worthy. Like
You
you're
have
tough
this
enough.
new championship tattoo.
That's awesome. You're gonna be a parent.
You get promised plenty of other things of what you get.
yeah.
I like it. I think that's about everything I have at the moment for like a session 0 thing. And pretty much more than likely in some form or fashion, the Alien Queen typically is like your first villain you create is also meant to kind of be there in your introductory story. So you guys can have an idea of like the setting you're in, you know, one of your initial villains that you'll be aware of. And I'm pretty happy. I feel like we're at a good starting place.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I hate to cut it short, but at the same time, I feel like that's a good note to end on. We'll hit with gas when we come back for session 1.
There we go.
Maybe we'll kind of go in reverse order this time, and yeah, we'll let the main man Bert here start us off.
Oh yeah. When I'm not playing games with the Defenders of Cobalt, you can find me at twitch.tv/Steam Steal and Murder or our podcast, Blue Magic, BLUMAGIK.com.
And then, I'm impatient. I can't wait. I got to hear from Chuck.
Yeah, you're already on the channel, so good job. Come back Friday at 9 p.m. Central. We're going to be kicking off Destroyer of Worlds, the alien scenario. Saturday, at some point, we're going to have our next episode of Watercolors and Warriors. That's on YouTube. That's our Ghibli-inspired 5th Ed campaign. Saturday night, over on our Dangerous Stranger show on Goodman Games Official, Bert's going to be running us through some more Umerica. This Sunday, it should be more Salt Marsh, 9 p.m. Central here on this channel. And then, I also hang out with Jeff over on the Lollygaggers. And I also run a show every other Saturday during the day on Free League Publishing, where we play some Forbidden Lands.
You're a busy man. Sounds pretty cool. Dan, how many sessions before you think I get a chance to kill you?
I mean, it's not too late yet for this one, is it?
I don't feel it would be sportsmanlike to kill you in the session 0.
Okay,
I've seen games where you can die in character creation, but I think I want it to be an act of death.
I mean, it could literally be that I get crushed to death by the Hot Pocket, like right out of the gate. Like we're getting off of it, and one of
the red shirt lights up a cigarette as he comes off, and then the landing gear hits him.
Yeah, I mean, death by Hot Pocket. We can just
death
put that
by
one
Hot
in there.
Pocket. Okay, you heard it here, folks. He's calling it death by Hot Pocket. Actually, gonna write death by Hot Pocket because that would be funny.
So excited. This will be fun.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it.
If we want to flavor that a little more, I got burned to death by a Hot Pocket. I got caught in the engines or something like that and just incinerated.
It was just a little too hot.
That Hot Pocket was way too hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Jake, I have to ask you, what are the odds that we are going to get some references to smelling what you were cooking?
God damn it. I had Dwayne Johansson as my identity name here.
I just feel it. It's one of those things where I'm a little slow tonight. I'm not 100%. And just 15 minutes I'm like, wait a minute, he's playing a rock. I know what he's gonna do. And I can't wait.
Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. I suddenly my brain clicked something. I was like, okay, I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah.
I'm very happy.
I am too. I can't wait.
The other thing that makes me happy, sun bears.
Yeah, sun bears are adorable. Do you know the name of the Care Bear that had that had the power of the sun?
Yeah.
Sunshine Bear, wasn't it?
Sunshine Bear.
It's Funshine Bear.
Funshine Bear. That honestly, that was my cuddle buddy when I was in preschool. I had Funshine Bear.
I had Lucky, the green one. Yeah.
Nice.
So I haven't decided if I'm gonna go full Sun Bear or if he's gonna be more like Care Bear style, in small. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You should just stop talking, Jeff, because I just want to play a Care Bear campaign.
I know, right? I kind of want to.
Dibs on Rainbow Bear.
Sort of just do that. But anyway, I'm Chuck. Or no, I'm not. I'm Jeff. I'm sorry. I just read Captain Carrot.
Oh, man. Now your wife can give you so much grief.
I just read, I was reading, Captain Carrot's thing, and I'm like, oh, it just scanned right across the word Chuck. But I'm Jeff.
Least she said her name correctly.
Yes, I know. That's true. Yeah. Don't tell Melissa. She might not be watching still.
Okay.
I think she's doing taxes. Adventures of Lollygagging. We're at twitch.tv/Lollygaggers. This Friday, a little earlier than when the Defenders are playing Alien, 8 Central, we're playing Delta Green. And then on Monday, we're back and we're playing Alien Campaign. You could see a few of these folks in that game. And every other Monday, we're also on the Free League Publishing channel, playing Things from the Flood, talking about meat. And soon we'll be playing a Worlds Without Number game as well. So coming soon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It looks like she was watching.
Damn it.
So happy. But yeah, I'm not just happy that your wife can now embarrass you and hold that against you forever, Jeff. I'm also happy that we're going to get to play more of this game together. And I'm happy that people chose to sit with us and watch through all this. Can't wait to see you again in a couple of weeks. Until then, stay spectacular to each other. Keep gaming. Have fun. Bye.